grass in my bitch. I'm a boss. I'm a bitch and I lost in my shine like grass in my bitch.
Hey friends, today I'm sharing my favorite design hack. I love a good feature wall, but how do you make sure your frames stay in place? I use sticky tack. That way my kids can bang on the frames and I know they're not going anywhere. Hey friends, today...
So we have a standard Spanish lavender right here, and then as you take the side shoots off, it starts to look like this as you just leave the top growth. And if you just let that process continue and you keep snipping it off, check this out. But then look at this, the final product, which is the lavender tree, which looks absolutely amazing. And you can see hundreds of them right here. Beautiful pollinator plant, probably making its way out to a big box store somewhere, a local nursery, but just a really cool way to prune and train these lavender. So we have a
Day one of making Ariana Grande's Grammy dress. And yes, it's day one because this is huge. The original dress took 200 hours. I don't have that time, so I have a hoop skirt. That stain is from a project gone wrong. I got the skirt and the mannequin from Amazon. We don't need these, so you eat them. Step one, we have to cover this. We're gonna make a skirt using 5 yards of 108-inch fabric. I use this app to calculate how much I need. It gives you your waist, how much fabric you need, and a diagram. I laid it out on the ground, folded it over, and I marked out our skirt. Time to cut and sew. So there's the skirt on the mannequin, now it's time for the tulle. I'm going to use 12 yards of it for the bottom part of the skirt. I'm using a regular foot with a basting stitch to gather. Now I have to hand gather this to a manageable amount. Okay, pinned on, time to sew down. Now repeat till you get to the top. Your final layers go all the way to the floor. Come back for part 2. Day 1.
The other night I was watching Avatar and thought to myself, I could turn this into a photo shoot. So I got me some inspiration, set up my camera gear and took a self-portrait and spent the next cruel 3 hours photoshopping my face. But this was the result. The other night I was
you know what I need to get by. Something for your mind, mind. Something for your mind. Something for your mind.
정신을 집어넣으세요. 어떤 것 필요합니까?
Something for your
정신을 집어넣으세요.
mind.
Living room makeover day 2, so I woke up, realized that I don't need to paint this wall again, yay! Clearly this one does need a second coat, so that's on the agenda for today. Also, the IKEA people came and delivered so much stuff. They did, however, drop this box, and it had some parts in it, but everything seems to be okay, so back to painting for me. Which, yeah, I feel like all I can see now is blue. So to keep it fun, I recommend jamming out to one of your favorite songs. This is me going absolutely crazy to 3 AM by Halsey because, oh, why not? Yeah, trying to paint at the same time looks ridiculous, but I got super crisp line, as you can see here. Really, really happy with it. This is Defee corner done. Moving on to the rug, we need a new rug. Realized that IKEA people rolled it the wrong way up, like, why, IKEA, why? Put these poofs down, decided I could tire, chill with my kitties, and that's it for today.
Think you know what I need to get by. Something for your mind, mind. Something for your mind, mind. Something for your mind.
Alright team, here's a little update on the tomato organza bag situation. So as you can see, these have perfectly ripened inside the bags. They look fantastic. Birds have not eaten them at all. And I'm about to come harvest all of these. Look at that. Alright team, here's a little...
Alright, I'm going to show you how to properly wrap an extension cord and give yourself a built-in loop so you can hang it on a hook. This is what most people try and do. But what you're doing, you're actually twisting the wires that are inside this protective sheathing. Alright, here's the proper way to do it. Take the extension cord about your arm length and then give it a little twist. Create a loop. Do the same thing until you get to the end. This will keep the cord from twisting internally, and it won't damage it. When you get to your final loop, you want to grab it at the top, take that final loop, wrap it around the cord, and then back up through the top. Give it a little pull, and now you got a hook. You can hang it on something in the garage. All right, I'm gonna...
like a girl. And he got vice towards the tail. See both sides like Chanel. See on both sides like Chanel. Swimming laps through cool water. Eating like I'm underwater. Had my tattoos in Shibuya. Police think I'm out the underworld.
So I'm in my buddy's bathroom and we are gonna clean this disgusting grout today with hydrogen peroxide and baking soda. So you're gonna combine the hydrogen peroxide with the baking soda, making a paste, kind of like the texture of toothpaste. I just use a cleaning toothbrush to mix the baking soda and hydrogen peroxide. So now you're just gonna take a generous amount of your mixture, apply it to your grout in areas like where your sink connects with the tile countertop. So I'm scrubbing it in a little bit, but I'm mostly piling on the product on top of the grout, and it's going to sit there for about 30 minutes before we finally scrub and wipe it all up. It's been 30 minutes, time to scrub away the baking soda. Dark grout like this is really difficult to get a strong, bright before and after, but this is definitely much cleaner, so if you found this helpful, be sure to like and follow for more cleaning tips.
Kitchen organization ideas. Wine glass holder from Amazon. Store your Keurig pods in a cute container. Store your dishware next to your stove for easy serving. Keep a Lazy Susan in the fridge so things don't get lost. Dollar Tree file folder for your cans. Kitchen organization ideas.
Let's talk about rosemary. This is rosemary I grew in my garden. It's so beautiful. And I thought I would share some of the medicinal properties and even a little bit of folklore that you may not know about rosemary. A phytochemical found in rosemary called carnosic acid is responsible for some of its incredible benefits. Some of those benefits include being neuroprotectant. It has an incredible affinity for the brain. It helps improve memory, focus, attention. Rosemary is really high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory, especially with the GI tract. So if you have gas, bloating, IBS, all that stuff, rosemary is really helpful. Across many ancient civilizations, including ancient Greece, Rome, and Egypt, it was always associated with the same things: purification, banishing of evil spirits, was burned as incense, and remembrance and memory. So it was laid on the graves of people who passed away to let them know that they would never be forgotten. Let's talk about rosemary.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Renovations That Don't Make Sense. I'd like to introduce you to the light that can never go on. Pot lights? We don't want no pot lights. Cover those up with a nice thick paste. We want this. We cut off that little tiny piece of baseboard that's sticking out? Nah, just leave it. No one will notice. I notice. Oh, welcome to another edition.
It's berry season. And everything's ripening now. And these are the boysenberries.
These beauties here are the Lawton berries, and I'm so happy with them.
Let me show you how I start my seeds. I like to use eggshells because they are the perfect vessel for starting plants. Eggshells contain calcium carbonate and nitrogen, which is a fertilizer for plants. Moisten your seed starter first before you put the seeds in. I like to moisten the soil first because seed starter is rather dry. So if you water it after you put the seeds in, it can dislodge your seeds. So water the soil first. Poke some holes in the bottom of the eggshell for drainage. A push pin works really well. Fill them up with soil. I like to use a feather or small stick with a marked depth on it for the seed. I only use 2 or 3 seeds at the most because you don't want to overcrowd this, because if you're overcrowding it, you're going to have to thin it out later and it's going to disrupt the roots. Gently pat down the seeds in the holes that you made. I like to sprinkle the top with cinnamon. This helps protect against fungus and fungus gnats. The carton itself acts as a little greenhouse for your plants. Make sure you label it and date it. Let me show you how.
Okay, so now you do the first layers kind of like your base layer. And we are going to make a really pretty design. It's so simple, but yet people find this fascinating when they come into my house. And they also think that I am a sociopath, that I take the time to do this once a month. But you know what? You say OCD is a disease, I say it's a blessing. And people always ask, do I replace them every time someone eats one? No. I'm not crazy. I'm just organized every 30 days. Okay, so now
I'm sitting here crying in my prom dress. I'd be the prom